Hey friends, how's it going? So, the first day of Endless Heist is over, and let's talk about it. So, if you're not familiar yet, Endless Heist is the current race that's going on, and there's actually a bunch of different variations of it. You can choose between softcore and hardcore, and solo self-found and trade. It's pretty interesting having that many variations, and it actually spreads out the number of players across the number of leagues. So maybe you can sneak in there and get a little bit of a chance to win a race if you haven't done that before. It's a pretty interesting little setup where you just get contracts, and in fact, you get tons of contracts. I think I'm averaging 3 to 4 contracts per contract that I run, and I'm just overflowing with them. It's actually like strangely tuned to the point where ideally I would like to be able to 5 to 1 them to get them to a higher level or something like that, because right now I'm just flooded with them and I have to just like sell them to a vendor and for wisdom shards just to get them out of my inventory. We're just getting lockpicking, brute force, and engineering at least up until level 51 where I am right now, and you just run them. You get the loot that you get, and you very similar to Endless Delve is you'll get your ascendancy points and your regret points and your passive points as you level up about every 10 levels. It would actually be like a nice different way to be able to level up your character if you don't feel like doing the campaign again. With that said, my criticism is it is pretty samey feeling so far. I'm not sure I would actually do this as as an alternative to the campaign. Endless Delve, I think, had enough. There's enough different nodes. There's enough variety in there that I think it would be more fun. But there's something about like at least like these very low level contracts, like they scale all the way down to level 1 because you have to start there. And contracts aren't even supposed to unlock until Act 6. So these like very low level contracts, yeah, we're getting decent loot. I already have a tabula. There's, really, really good uniques that, you get a lot of uniques. I shouldn't say really good uniques, but it's just kind of like, it's a little samey right now. With that said, I do think as I get to, where the contracts are supposed to unlock, when I start getting blueprints, all of that, start getting replicas, alternate quality gems, it's going to unlock a lot of variety and interesting stuff. The problem here is that, I think level 1 through 70 is just going to feel really slow. And, thus far it kind of does. I am taking this very, very easy right now. I'm just leveling up my character, going through these contracts and, taking my time. I am in solo self-found hardcore, so I'm going, really, really slow, always taking a little, like if I ever see my life go down even just a little bit, I take, an extra 5 to 10 minutes between contracts and upgrade my gear and, really, really look at my defenses. So, it's taking a long time for me to get to the interesting part. I think that is my main criticism so far is I would really like to see, I don't know, like low level blueprints. I know it just like it doesn't fit into the main game, but since we're in this voided league, I would really like to see, be able to get some, low level replicas or something very, very early on. I think that would add a lot of interesting variety instead of waiting until level 70 plus for anything, different and fun to happen. So it's actually been exactly 24 hours since the Endless Heist event started. So this is a good, a good stopping point where we can take a look at what the results are, how hard people are grinding, and maybe there's something that you can sneak in there. If you haven't started yet and you want to compete with people. Unlike the Endless Delve event, this is a traditional style race where the XP is everything that matters. As soon as there's 5 level 100s within your bracket, you will no longer be able to compete with them. I would love to see a different metric by which we could gauge the competition. I always talk about this. I don't love okay, it's a 10-day endurance thing, and it's all about the time that you put in and try to get level 100. With that said, it is an endurance competition, and it is a skill, and it does require, especially a certain amount of fortitude, mental fortitude, and planning. Make sure you get hydrated and all that. Take care of yourself. Just hard grinding XP and, just watching your XP climb versus someone else is not the most interesting thing to me. I would love, maybe even just like bonus bounties or something for, finding a certain amount of collected replicas or alternate quality gems or something like that. Could add a little bit of spice to it at least. Anyway, if we look at the standings here right now, we are 24 hours in. I am looking at the hardcore solo self-found right now. We can see that this person very much likes racing. If you go to poe-racing.com, this means this person has 26 race rewards. They are a very serious racer, and they really care about this. They are playing Exsanguinate Gladiator. I was actually kind of thinking of playing a Bleed Gladiator, and I'm glad I did not. You can see a lot of gladiators on this list already. We have a dead berserker at level 93. We don't know what they were playing because they have their account hidden. If you don't want people to know your strategy. We also have an SST gladiator. That was another build that I was considering that I'm glad I didn't go with. We have someone who already grinded up to level 93, and they have 32 race rewards. This is clearly, a very contentious bracket. So, it's good to be careful about these things. If you really want to be competitive, you got to be very strategic about how you approach this. So we can see that people have, within 24 hours, they've grinded pretty hard. I would assume or hope that some of these people are sleeping right now. I heckin' love Doors apparently is not sleeping. That is an occultist playing unknown. But it's good to just go to PoE Racing, check out what's going on, follow what your competition might be. Maybe you can get ideas, kind of people that haven't hidden their profiles, see what they're up to. And then let's go on the totally opposite side of that, and let's just do Endless Heist. This is trade softcore. I assume this is going to be absolutely crazy looking. Okay, only one level higher than what I would assume. The difference here is not solo Southbound, not hardcore. People are going full crazy. You can actually group up. So these are actually groups that are working together, and they are doing like I've watched a little bit of gameplay of that last night from the some of those folks, and you're seeing 6-person groups in contracts, in blueprints, grinding super hard, doing crazy stuff. We got an aura stacker. We're gonna have some MF people. Most of these people have their profiles actually hidden, which is really, really interesting. This is on the total opposite side of the spectrum here. I'm not sure, I'm glad that I'm not in this competition. This seems really, really stressful. Now, if we go to what I'm doing, I'm playing an Inquisitor. My plan is to go Righteous Fire. I actually got to the point where I'm sustaining Righteous Fire right now, doing the traditional RF and Scorching Ray thing. Because I'm in hardcore, I will be making as many adjustments as possible to be as tanky as I can be. Like I said in my previous video, we really don't need to get our damage very high. Just has to be good enough to kill those rares, before they can hit us more than a couple times. More beyond that, even worrying about the uniques, we can basically ignore them, shield charge away. So we can see that, this is much less competitive than the real big folks. The highest person here is a level 73 Armageddon brand. And then if we go down to where I am right now, as is tradition, I look at these things as a 10-day marathon. I take it nice, easy, and slow. And I'm still, on the second page here. I'm still in the top 100 of the Inquisitors, and I'm happy with that, right? So all of these names that are grayed out, we can see a fair number of people have died. Decent percentage of them are dead, which means I can get past them as I just, slowly move forward. And I am level 51, I believe, right here. I don't want to use buttons as the name of my character. We can see I'm a level 51 Inquisitor. I am slowly going up, and, I'm still competitive, right? The difference between, on day 1 in level 73 and level 51 is not that big. And there's a lot of room for people to make mistakes and die. So I'm not really worried. As long as I'm around the top 100 as we move forward for the first few days of this race, I'm not too worried about my chances here. Now, if I see a lot of people getting to like level 96, 97, and then 98s, if I see 5 level 98s and I'm, like level 92, yeah, well then I probably have no chance. Assuming none of them die trying to push really, really hard. The nice thing about playing the hardcore solo self-found version is I don't have to worry as much about people grinding mega hard, going a little bit more glass cannon, trying to push it, to the absolute extremes. With that said, you do have to be careful about, the level that people are at, and, always be taking a look at this so you can, make adjustments, or just understand, okay, well, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to get that demigods. Let's not hurt myself here. Focus on having fun. And, especially if I'm not enjoying this, don't grind it out and like really go crazy, right? All right. So since I'm a very handsome old man here without any pants on, what I do is I go in the instance, I turn on Righteous Fire. You can see that I have 593 life regen. This goes down to 512 as I walk around because the consecrated ground goes away. Once I get my next ascendancy points, I think that's at 55. That will be huge for me because then the consecrated ground becomes stronger. It applies to my energy shield as well, and it will linger. So as long as I stop occasionally, the consecrated ground won't disappear as soon as I start walking again. And then I'm just going to have really, really good life regen. So that's like my next checkpoint that I'm going for here. So we go in the instance, we reapply Righteous Fire. Also very, very important, I am only using Huck in every single contract right now. he gives us a 20% bonus XP multiplier. So that is just really, really huge to make, this is an XP based race. We want to level up as quickly as possible. Huck is our best friend. And then he also gives us a buff that just gives us more damage, attack, cast, and movement speed. So everything just feels better with Huck right now. He's going to be our go-to for basically all of this outside of running blueprints. I'm going to be focusing on Huck-based contracts basically all of the time, minus probably running deceptions for Gianna. The contracts that give us the most XP, as far as I know, are repository. I will show you guys how I like to farm repository and just really, really get that XP. Some of the other contracts can give you decent XP, like underbelly and especially tunnels. You can kind of farm them up pretty decently. But in my opinion, repository really has the highest density of monsters. So the nice thing about this build is we don't have to use buttons very much. We just kind of shield charge around, flame dash once in a while if we need to. I am manually casting flammability right now. A goal that I have at the moment is to find a flammability on hit ring. The nice thing is we can find influence bases in here, so we're just kind of staying on the lookout for that. That's not going to happen for a while, though. And then I'm occasionally just do Scorching Ray, get those, get a little bit more burning damage on them, and get that fire exposure. And then you can kind of just, like, smoothly go around, flame dashing, shield charging. Pick up all the loot that you can. I mean, the loot that we do get is better than in maps, but, due to the nature of it being heist and, it kind of all being a little samey right now. Just not really as much variety as I would like here. Really hoping that picks up when we start doing blueprints and stuff, and I think it will. So when it comes to escaping, all of the main, the thing to look out for if you want to, get your XP in repository is you look for these big square rooms. There will be 2 different spawns up here, the north and the south, and we can kind of just like go on top of those, kind of walk around, cast flammability, do a little Scorching Ray. And then in also the rooms where we opened up the big chest, that's where there's also really big spawns of monsters. So we can kind of just go in there. So you look at that, tons of monsters. Just kind of farm these guys up a little bit. Don't even spend too much time on rares or anything. And then you want to go right back to the other room that had some monsters. And just walk past them, kill them, burn them down, get through this spawn. I really like to just do 2 rotations. You can do 3, but there's diminishing returns. After the 3rd rotation, you'll get very close to 0 XP. So it's just not worth your time. So I just like to go back and forth once. Go back in this room. All right, watch out for those big scary balls. That is the one thing to watch out for when doing this. Those things are scary. There are also little red explosion things on the ground, similar to Cirrus's Reign of Stars. Those will hurt pretty bad as well. But we just burn them down. Cast flammability, flame dash in. Instantly kill the monsters. In and out real quick. And, you can see I got about 30% XP for that level. Pretty nice. Indeed. Look at that handsome little guy up there. I'm not even sure I'm going to turn on any MTX for him. He just looks so robust. So hopefully you guys enjoyed my quick little day 1 recap. There will be a day 2 recap tomorrow, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're going to keep on reviewing what this is looking like. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about certain defensive layers, especially the gear that I'm looking at as I start, being able to target certain things, and adaptations that I'm able to make to really adapt this character to, the Soul Self-Found hardcore Heist League specifically. It's going to be a very interesting challenge. I'm really looking forward to doing this, and thanks for joining me on this journey along the way. I think there's going to be a lot of really interesting things that we're going to do here that will really boost our knowledge as we move forward, playing Path of Exile in general. A nice thing about PoE and all of the different flavors of playing it, especially with all these different competitions that we have right now, is, the knowledge really, it has like these really interesting consequences and, interconnections. And like, I really encourage people to try different flavors of playing the game and, try things like very specialized builds, things that are just simulacrum farmers or just MF characters or anything. Even if you don't think you're going to like it, it's good to experience it firsthand, understand what it feels like, understand those consequences. That will really help you, if you need to work on defense, on offense, on different economic strategies, different ways of just enjoying the game. Or like maybe you did something on this MF character that felt really good, and like, oh, I didn't know that Rampage felt this good just in general with mapping. Maybe I find a way to just sneak in like a weapon swap for Rampage or something, right? Even if what you're doing doesn't apply to how you usually play the game, I think it's a great way to branch out and really increase your knowledge. So thanks again for following me on this journey, and I gotta get to streaming this on twitch.tv/subtractem and start pushing this build, try to get back on the first page. So thanks again, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.